You ever notice how, after 60, your body starts giving you little signals? A puffiness in the morning, feeling more tired after a salty meal, needing more water than you used to? Most people brush it off. But your body's been quietly working behind the scenes your whole life, filtering, balancing, keeping things steady. And what you eat every day either helps that work along or makes it harder. Stay with me for a few minutes, because what I'm about to share isn't about fear. It's about paying attention to something you already have some control over. Here's what you'll walk away with today. You'll understand a handful of everyday food habits that quietly put extra strain on your body's natural balance as you get older. Nothing complicated, no strange diets, no giving up everything you enjoy, just a clearer picture of what's helping you and what's working against you, so you can make small, steady changes, the kind that add up over months and years. That's really what aging well comes down to, isn't it? Small choices made again and again. Now, before we go further, I want to say something important. I'm going to talk in general terms today about nutrition and habits. This isn't medical advice, and it's not a replacement for your own doctor, who knows your history and your body far better than I ever could. Think of this as a friendly conversation, the kind you'd have with someone who's read a lot and just wants to pass along what's useful. If something here makes you curious about your own health, the very next step is simply to bring it up at your next appointment. All right, let's get into it. The first thing worth understanding is salt. And I don't mean the shaker on your table. I mean the hidden salt tucked into canned soups, deli meats, frozen dinners, salad dressings, even bread. Most of the salt in the average diet doesn't come from cooking at home. It comes from packaged and processed foods, the ones designed to last on a shelf for months. Why does this matter as you get older? Well, your body works to keep a careful balance of fluids and minerals, day in and day out. That balance is part of what keeps you feeling steady, keeps your energy even, keeps things running smoothly behind the scenes. A diet that's heavy in hidden salt asks your body to work harder to maintain that balance. It's not dramatic. It's not sudden. It's just more effort, day after day, that adds up over the years. So here's the doable action. You don't need to throw out your salt shaker in a panic. Just start reading labels on the things you buy most often. Your soup, your bread, your favorite frozen meal. Look for lower sodium versions. And when you do cook at home, lean on herbs, garlic, lemon, black pepper, flavors that wake up a dish without leaning on salt. That's it. One swap at a time. Let me say that again because it matters. Hidden salt in packaged food is often the real issue, more than the salt you add yourself. And small swaps toward lower sodium options can ease the daily load on your body. The second thing to think about is sugary drinks. Soda, sweetened tea, fruit juices with added sugar, those flavored coffee drinks that taste more like dessert. It's easy to sip on these without thinking twice, especially if they've been part of your routine for decades. Here's why this matters. A lot of sugar, taken in day after day, asks your body to process and manage more than it would with steadier, simpler choices. And unlike food, drinks go down fast. It's easy to take in more sugar than you realize because it doesn't feel like eating. Over time, that steady stream adds up, and it can affect your energy, your weight, and how your body handles its everyday balancing act. So, what can you actually do? Try cutting one sugary drink a day and replacing it with water, or a plain sparkling water with a splash of citrus. If you enjoy tea or coffee, that's fine. Just watch what you're adding to it. This isn't about perfection. It's about shifting the ratio, little by little, so plain water becomes your normal, and sugary drinks become the occasional treat instead of the daily habit. Again, the heart of it is this. Sugary drinks quietly add up more than we notice, and swapping just one a day for water is a small change with a real steady payoff. The third point is one people don't think about enough, and that's simply not drinking enough water. As we get older, our sense of thirst can get a little less sharp. You might not feel as thirsty as you used to, even when your body could use more fluid. And so, without meaning to, a lot of people quietly go through their day mildly underhydrated, more often than they'd guess. Why does this matter? Water helps your body carry out its everyday work of balancing and processing what you take in. Think of it like the oil in an engine. It helps everything move the way it's supposed to. When you're not drinking enough, that whole system has to work with less to work with. It's a quiet strain, not an obvious one, which is exactly why it's easy to overlook. Here's a simple, doable habit. Keep a glass or a bottle of water somewhere you'll see it, on your kitchen counter, by your favorite chair, next to your bed. Sip through the day rather than waiting until you feel parched. A good general guide many people find helpful is having a glass of water with each meal and one or two more in between. And if plain water feels boring, a slice of lemon or cucumber can make it more enjoyable. Let's restate this simply. Your sense of thirst can fade with age, so building water into your routine, rather than waiting to feel thirsty, helps your body do its quiet, steady work. The fourth idea is about heavily processed and packaged foods in general, beyond just the salt we already talked about. I mean the convenience foods, the boxed mixes, the frozen meals, the snack foods that come in bags and last for months on the shelf. These foods are often low in the things your body actually benefits from, like fiber and whole nutrients, and higher in additives designed mostly for shelf life and flavor, not for nourishing you. Why should this matter to you at this stage of life? Whole foods, vegetables, fruits, beans, whole grains, lean proteins give your body real material to work with. Processed foods often ask your body to do more processing itself without giving back much in return. Over years, a diet leaning heavily on convenience foods can leave your body working harder while getting less support. That's simply the honest trade-off. The action here is gentle, not extreme. You don't need to overhaul your whole pantry overnight. Just start with one meal a day. Make it a whole food meal, built around vegetables, a lean protein, maybe some beans or whole grains. Let the rest of your day be what it's been. As that becomes comfortable, add another meal. This is about direction, not perfection. So again, plainly, leaning your meals toward whole, simple foods, one meal at a time, gives your body more of what it needs and less of what just adds extra work. The fifth and final point is about alcohol, and I want to be gentle here because I know this one can feel personal. A glass of wine with dinner, a beer on the porch, these are simple pleasures for a lot of people, and I'm not here to take that away from you. But it's worth understanding, honestly, that as we age, our bodies process alcohol differently than they did at 30 or 40. What felt like a light, easy habit years ago can be a heavier load on your system now, even at the same amount. Why does this matter? Your body has to work to process what you take in, whether that's food, drink, or anything else. Alcohol adds to that workload. It's not about guilt, and it's certainly not about judgment. It's simply about knowing that the same habit can mean something different for your body now than it did decades ago. So here's the doable step. If you enjoy a drink, that's your choice, and nobody's here to lecture you about it. But it might be worth noticing how often and how much, and asking yourself honestly if that's shifted over the years without you quite realizing it. Maybe it's cutting back to a few days a week instead of every day. Maybe it's one drink instead of two. Small adjustments made with awareness rather than habit running the show. To put it simply once more, alcohol affects an older body differently than a younger one, and a little honest awareness about your own pattern can go a long way. Now let's bring all of this together because I don't want you to walk away thinking about 5 separate rules to follow. I want you to walk away with one feeling, and that is you still have real influence here. Nothing I've shared today is about fear, and nothing is about perfection. Your body has been working for you, quietly and faithfully, for 60, 70, maybe 80 years or more. It deserves a little thoughtfulness in return, not punishment, not restriction, just thoughtfulness. Watching your hidden salt, easing off sugary drinks, drinking water steadily through the day, leaning your plate toward whole foods, and being honest with yourself about alcohol. None of these things require you to become a different person. They just ask you to bring a little more attention to habits that have maybe been running on autopilot for years. And attention, more than anything else, is what changes the trajectory of how we age. Not drastic overhauls, just steady, gentle attention, applied again and again over time. And remember what I said earlier. Please let this be a starting point for conversation, not a substitute for the care and guidance of your own doctor. They know your history, your body, your particular story. What we've talked about today is simply the kind of general understanding that can help you ask better questions and notice your own patterns a little more clearly. If this conversation gave you something useful today, something to think about over your next cup of coffee, I'd be glad if you'd subscribe to this channel. We talk about these kinds of things regularly here, plain, honest, unhurried conversations about aging well. And I'd truly love to hear from you in the comments. Tell me, what's one small habit you've already changed as you've gotten older? Or maybe one you're thinking about changing now? I read what you write, and I think other folks watching find real comfort in hearing from each other, just as much as they do from me. Take care of yourself this week, not out of worry, but out of respect for everything your body has carried you through so far. I'll see you next time.